Not many people know that.
And, oh yeah, I remember a Pilaf too.
Yeah. And I'm Android 13. Trucker Android. Look at my trucker hat.
Check one.
No, my very first role in DBZ was Garlic Jr.
Yes.
I'm gonna push you into the dead zone. Oh, look who's here.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm so glad to see you guys, bright and shiny. I'm Stephanie Nadolny, voice of Kid Goku and Kid Gohan, Super Saiyan. Good to see ya. All right, introducing Miss.
Hi.
Hi, Steele.
Or Shin Chan, I was the next door lady, ukulele, and I've been on One Piece as Alvida, and Ruka on Yu Yu Hakusho. So, plus 45 others, but I know.
Yes, our little
Who's counting?
KO. I'm here to defend the plaza.
Well, this panel is you guys asking us questions and us answering them. So does anyone have any questions? All right, great panel. We'll see you guys later.
Come see us at our table. Autographs for sale.
That joke works every time.
I'm gonna ask you something.
Sure.
Because I'm kind of interested here. Who was your influence? Why did you get?
Why did I get into
Yeah,
voice
who
acting?
influenced you?
Brad Jackson, who plays Oolong. We were at rehearsals one day, and he was like, "Hey Chuck, you should go audition for this Dragon Balls thing." And I was like, "Dragon Balls? That sounds naughty." And he was like, "No, it's Japanese anime." And I was like, "Oh, so it's definitely naughty." And he was like, "No, it's super cool. Go audition for this guy. His name's Chris Sabat." And so I went and auditioned, and
he was like, "Yeah, man, that was great. That was awesome. Yeah. No, that was really good. Like, you're totally Garlic Jr., man. You got time, like, right now to record it?"
I was like, "I got the part?"
He was like, "Yeah, no, we're kind of on a schedule."
I was like, "This is not real. This is not a real thing, and I'm never getting any money for this." And then, like, right as I was leaving after the audition/session that I did, he tore a piece of paper out of a notebook.
It was like, "Oh, write down your address so we can send you a check."
And I was like, right. But then, like, 2 weeks later, I got a check for $70, and I was like, "This is amazing!" And I was hooked after that. How did you start?
Oh yes, how did I start? I had been voicing and just playing with crazy character voices since I was a kid, just for fun, because I thought it was fun. I would imitate, mimic whatever I heard on TV, cartoons. I also started singing at the age of 2 or 3, as long as back as I can remember. So I was anything involving the voice, singing, acting, drama. I did anything and everything performance related, talent shows, community theater. Oh gosh, pom-pom. I didn't do the cheerleading thing. I wanted to dance more than sing. Pom-pom was in small towns up in Kansas. I moved around a lot. Drill team, whatever. But no, I started voicing and mimicking as a kid for fun, with a little cassette player, and started taking piano. And I mean, I just was fascinated by any and all things vocal, and that just I guess it was kind of an obsession, but not like in a bad way, like. And I actually was singing with a performing internationally known show band called Vince Vans and the Valiants, featuring the vivacious Vixies of rock and roll, Venus, Violet, and Victoria. Of course, that changed, Vanessa. We had so many different people coming in and out of that band. It's actually the 50th anniversary of that band, by the way. We're having our anniversary this September. Yeah, but the year before I was born. Or about that. We always talk that I joined the band as a fetus. I just kind of warbled my way up.
She was gargling in the womb.
I was, yes. And so that led me to some other opportunities to perform and sing and sit in with Brave Combo in Denton, Texas, where I met Carl Finch. And he asked me to sing some backup vocals for a show called Cyborgs, which Funimation was recording at the time. And at that session, I met Bernie Watson, who asked, "Do you do voiceovers?" And I said, "I've always did this for fun, blah, blah, blah," exchanged cards. Less than a year later, I got a call for the audition, and I showed up and read 4 female characters, just blind thinking, well, I'll try out for Vollmer or Chi-Chi, and the audition was quite the contrary. They wanted me to voice as a kid, as a little boy, and caught me off guard, but I just gave them what I thought a little boy would sound like. They said, okay, rasp it up, so I did, and I got the phone call about a week or two later saying, saying so.
We want you to play the voice of Gohan. It's a big part, you know.
I was all excited. I was on my answering machine, you know, back in the day. And it was just exciting. I was already doing some stuff with my singing, but it was just a whole different avenue. And actually, it's really, honestly, overall put me more on the map than my singing ever did. So be it, right? So that's how I got into the industry. And we'll move over to Laurie. Okay, yes.
As a kid, I was the only child, so I had did voices to entertain myself. But my biggest influence was Toon Parade. We all know who Toon Parade is. No. Remember Rocky's Bowen? Rocky was Toon Parade.
Yep.
And also Nell and Dudley Do Right. I'll say you, Nell. Oh, Dudley. And she did voices for, are we ready? She voiced for 80 years.
80
Where was it?
years.
80 years. She died at 98. She didn't die from old age. She died from complications from an accident. From a car accident. But I can't imagine doing voice work for 80 years. And originally she was not credited for anything because she was a woman. But it's over time she became, I mean, for me, she's the Mel Blanc, some female character. Okay. And then there was also a woman named Fanny Price, who if you've ever seen Funny Girl, she was with the Ziegfeld Follies and she went on to have her own radio program and producer and director. She was amazing woman, did a lot of funny stuff. But that's why I get into it. And Josh Josh Martin and Chris Rager and Mike McFarland, they all auditioned for Dragon Ball. They said, well, you do a whole bunch of voices. Why don't you go audition for them? So Barry Potter, I auditioned for him. And I did 8 characters, and then I really wanted big hair and big boots and spike heels. And they said, no, you're gonna be the short, fat Karate Kid. With no nose. And then I had no nose. Then I had somebody written in a review, well, she sounds a little nasal.
And I said, well, you would too if you didn't have a nose.
That's for me.
Doesn't have a nose. Welcome.
Welcome, I'm sorry I'm late, guys.
That's
Joined
okay.
us.
Yay, we have another.
Ken Williams, ladies and
Don't make her
gentlemen.
mad. She's got
Morning, y'all.
a weapon.
Good morning. Ken got a fancy mic. We were telling stories about how we got into the business.
What was your inspiration?
Do you want to tell your story, your
What was
inspiration?
your inspiration, Kent?
Well, I remember I went to school for acting, right?
Right.
And then, but I didn't end up working acting. It's on, right? I see you handing the mic.
Yeah,
I'm wearing a little.
He's got a fancy
Yeah.
microphone.
Fancy.
A lavalier. It's
And I just
French.
kind of left it because, to make money. I had a new family. So I just kind of left theater. But when I came back, I did a show, and by that got an audition with Sabbath and his engineer, Justin Cook, on a little fold-out table, like a Tupperware table, in an empty room next to an elevator shaft.
Right? You had
So
to go through
sketchy.
boxes, like.
I was on the phone. I was thinking, like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
It didn't seem right.
Seemed a little sus.
People come here on the upper floors to file bankruptcy, so I wasn't sure I was in the right place, and it's true. It was in that building. But I mean, who knew what it was? What was to come? Thank goodness, that just right there at the right time.
That's right. But it's funny because everybody's story has the same element to it. I always tell this to students. The element of where you were in the industry, working in the industry, and somebody gave you information and said you should go do this thing. Actors are very helpful to each other, especially at the early stages. They like to share all their oh, this is a great place to audition, this is a great workshop, and so that's the common element in all the stories.
I don't think anybody gets anywhere really all by themselves.
No.
I think that to have friends, immerse yourself in the industry, meet other business professionals, other actors, people who are who have the same passion in their heart and their drive, and they need an opportunity. They need someone to help them open a door or guide them down a path, and so that's really really cool about the whole thing.
I feel like the path that we took, it has become the path for so many since then.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
almost like a
grown so
real
much.
rite of
Yeah.
passage.
Well, it's very funny because at the beginning, the actors in the DFW area kind of looked down on the anime dubbing. It was like, you were like, what do you do? Like, that's not real
Agents?
acting. Agents thought it was, that's stupid, don't do it now. And it certainly has changed.
And voice acting, I know for a lot of us, and for me personally, is completely different. I mean, the acting, but having acting chops is amazing and will obviously help you through
Yeah.
the delivery of your lines. I mean, you know, it's not just having a great voice or having a really cool voice for a specific character. I think it also is good if you can actually, in some ways, I guess it's kind of more difficult because you can't use your body or your movement.
Yeah.
Right? And you
I'm
guys
super
these are
physical, so I have to
instructors,
calm
yeah.
myself down all the time.
And they teach and stuff, so they, yeah. But having, what's up with my mic here, but yeah, I think it's good to have all kinds of, well, I mean, all of your background contributes to who you are anyway. So if you've got acting chops or you know, I mean, I know we were talking about theater and where we came from. I mean, all the stuff that I personally did, not even as a job. I mean, growing up, just doing plays and musicals and choreography, and I mean, just it all contributes to who you are as an actor, I guess you could say, and then you just portray that through the delivery of the lines. So I know for me personally, I've never taught, you know, acting per se, but my acting background has definitely contributed to the benefit of being a voice actor. So you guys seem to agree with that?
I taught speech and theater.
Okay.
And I decided I hated children.
Oh, to me, I love
No
it.
offense. No offense. Look at her. She's got a sour
I see a pout.
I love children. I have 8 children.
Give me one, please.
I can give you 2.
Right?
I'm kidding.
I'm just glad I'm able to hug and hold babies now, babies and kids. It's great.
When people find out I have 8 kids, they're like, how did that happen? I'm like, when a man and woman love each other, there is a special hug. And then they have sex. Sorry, health class. Any other questions?
What was that question, by the way, that I worked in on? What was the original question?
What was your inspiration?
Did we answer?
Yeah, I think we answered it.
Well, I want to say, like, what inspired me is I grew up in the country as a kid, and I had no exposure to any theater except, you know, what was on television at the time.
Right.
And I had, in this little town in Texas, I had a choice between rodeo or rodeo. And I needed a different kind of outlet, and I didn't know what that was. And like, I think that somebody mentioned, you know, doing plays when you were young. I remember inventing that as a kid and having that just light my fire and turn me on. To only discover when you moved into Dallas, the big city, then so many more opportunities, more so now.
Yeah, the internet has allowed you all to talk to each other across the world.
Yeah.
But back in our day, there was maybe one other dude in school that you'd be like, let's secretly play D&D and not tell anyone, so that we don't get beat up, which is kind of how it was.
And I know for me personally, it's different for, I guess, all of us, but most of us up here actually joined the clan, I guess, pretty much around the same time. I know for me, I auditioned in 1998.
Right.
And then 99 is when I think January was when I was actually officially cast. Because I remember that my mom was sick with cancer, and she had just been diagnosed right when I got cast. And I was just happy before we lost her in the following August. Suddenly, it was horrible. That she was able to watch it on Cartoon Network, and it was actually airing at the time with VHS tapes.
VHS.
The VHS tapes collection. I remember I had some. They would give us a few, and and they were like people at back then when it switched over and it became, you know, obsolete. That those aren't worth really anything. You should just chunk over.
Lies.
I have nieces now. My niece is 21, almost 22. She's been great. We've been going through my stuff and decluttering my house, and she's just finding all this cool stuff from 20 plus years ago, and she's just going out of her mind. And she's like, this is worth so much money, and this is so cool. And I'm like, just okay, take it. Whatever.
I used to sell all the VHS and DVDs they'd give us at Funimation to half-price books because I needed money.
Money.
When I was teaching public school, I would use them as gifts in class, you know, to like, you know, I would bribe students.
Right.
Right.
Please
Prizes.
just pass theater.
And donations too, but now they're worth even more when you can donate those things. When you sign, they can make donations to nonprofits, and it helps out a good cause. So
When
there you have
I
it.
was first there,
I don't think it is.
when I was first there, I was working with an AIDS organization every Christmas they would say, go to the warehouse and take what you want. Well, my station wagon was full. People to sign things. Can you imagine what that stuff is for now?
Yeah.
But they were so kind to me to let me pick all these things for these children who were so sad. So that Funimation, Barry Watson, that meant a lot to me at that point.
Barry.
True.
Yeah.
I love Barry.
Chuck,
Yeah.
do it funnier.
Yeah. Always look like my name there.
I was so intimidated by him when I first went in.
Really?
Yes, I wanted to do a really good job. I mean, it was new to this whole thing. I didn't know what do you want from me? And I remember I cried one day. I was so, because I'm so sensitive, and I was like, I was so worried that I didn't even care about the money. Seriously, I was like, I just want to do a good job. What do you want from me? And he was like, he came down on me, and he opened up the booth door and said something. It was something that, and I literally was crying, like underneath this acting, and it actually ended up contributing to the scene because it was a very powerful, emotional moment for Gohan, and he was supposed to cry. So I used it to my advantage, Mr. Watson.
Did he ever use the line, "It's for the children"?
Yes.
It's for the children.
Oh, listen, with
for the
Barry,
children.
another thing. He's a serious guy when it came down to business, but if you got him to laugh, like from a delivery to line, you knew that's the one, and you knew you were in good shape. Because if you could get the guy to laugh, I was like, oh.
I auditioned for Supreme Kai for Barry. He did one of the walk-ins, of course, Savage just has, he had to sit back, and he had me do Irish and a surfer. I mean, it's just whatever, you could come up. Yeah, do it like, hey y'all,
Use your funny voice.
Yeah, I remember that I got the laugh. I remember the line. It was like Gohan had to put on a mask for like a split second. He was like, I tried that one, and look what happened. And he started laughing, and I knew I was good with that one, so yeah. But yeah, he was kind of a country guy.
Paper scripts and reel to reel.
Paper scripts, yeah.
Oh yeah, paper scripts, the whole thing.
Aw.
I had just gotten my first cell phone because Mom was sick, and I remember it was like this little Nokia, whatever. Well, it was big actually. I was one of the last people in my little group of friends and family that actually got a cell phone. But I was traveling a lot with my show band, so I needed to get updates on my mom, and that was 1990. Wow, that's crazy. 22 years ago.
My stepdad invented the cell phone. He did. He was on the team at Motorola that invented this. We had a cell phone in 1980. We had a cell phone in 1984. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The flip phone.
He wasn't the lead guy, but he's got like 18 patents or 36 patents or something.
Oh wow.
For real?
Yeah.
That's too cool.
Yeah. You'd think he'd be rich, but he's not.
He's giving it all to those grandkids.
The 47 grandchildren.
Right.
It's a lot of grandchildren.
They're huge.
When a man and woman love each other very much. Any questions from you guys?
We're kind of rambling.
Yeah, here.
So, aside from voice acting, this is for each of one of y'all, what would have been your plan B?
I'm doing all the plans all at once. Whenever you're an actor, you have to do many things. You don't, like, this is the most, well, it was, and then COVID, but then it came back. But conventions and you guys, this is the most stable I've been as an actor in my entire career. And it makes us a different type of actor, because at one point I was just tired of commercial auditions, and I just told my agent, I was like, I don't need to audition for commercials anymore. She was like, really? I'm like, yeah, I don't need to do that anymore. And so, like, you guys give us such a strong artistic base from which to work. But up until the time I was mostly full-time doing this, I did construction, I was the principal of a Catholic school. I did, I had a student one time who was like, someone said you're Android 17. And I went, I am. And he was like, that's not true. And I was like, detention.
That's funny you said that. That's another question that we could extend. I'll give you guys your time too. But the same for me. I was traveling with the show band, singing all over mostly all the United States, but we did end up in Europe a few times and Canada. And when we would have these ups and downs, like there were times at Kamehacon where I was needed for months at a time, 2, 3, 4 months. because the deadlines were being met on their schedule with other actors or other properties, whatever they were doing. But in between, I had to do the same thing. I had to take all kinds of freelance contract labor jobs, whether it be sampling at Central Market. Here's this special sugar cookie with the cap and the gloves. And I think one of the funniest jobs I took, I was a diabetic flex pen. I had to dress up literally head to toe in a 110-degree hot summer at the Speedway, wearing all black from head to toe. And we were trading off every 20 to 30 minutes so we wouldn't have heat stroke. But it was, it was what I had to do to pay my bills. And I went out, and after my mom passed, I went and bought a house, and I started my whole life. I was waiting tables, I bartended. I did anything and everything to get the job done. So, some people were making fun of me. I remember I lost a job with a band because the band leader was like, I can't believe she's a waitress. And I was horrible. Wow. So he replaced me with somebody that, I don't know, wasn't a waitress. But I was doing that to pay the bills. I didn't, it was never a pride thing for me. I mean, I was working to, make a living and have I didn't have much family, I had to do it on my own. But I think it's a good thing because it's like, it teaches you those strong lessons. It teaches you to be resilient, and struggling through life. I mean, we all make mistakes, and I had to really backpedal quite a bit to, make it happen. But it's been quite a ride, and I'm very blessed and grateful to be making a living. And like Chuck said, man, this is a livelihood thing. This is a passion thing, and it's keeping us above water. And like you said, COVID, knocked a lot of us down in a lot of different industries, and this one in particular, I think I had to cancel 47 gigs last year with my band, and that was like not just my livelihood, but my whole entire band. We had to go through and cancel and try to reschedule, try to recoup. We've got one next weekend, so we're back. Yeah. But it's
well, I'm like you. I'm a live performer too.
Yeah.
In my own life, and we were just watching everything just disappear. Every day there was a new set. It was like, waiting to see on the news if your campus has been canceled for your school. We're just waiting every day. Who are we going to hear from again? That everything is just gone. So an entire year and a half of no live performance whatsoever, just stripped away.
All the energy.
One way to make you feel like you chose wrong. But yeah, you said resilience, and you got to keep going. I mean, fortunately, we're all in the same boat in a way. So we have a similar boat, a near boat.
Well, and saving too, is trying to save along the way, because something like that can happen, and you need to be able to pay your bills to stay above water, and like whether your friends, your family, your animals, whatever it is, you're responsible to take care of. I know that I started saving when I was 7. I came from a crazy, insane. My mom was struggling trying to raise us, and a divorce, and so I remember trying to start saving. Something inside of me said, you know what, you may need this one day. And let me tell you, I needed all of it. Yes, I started saying I had $25, and I thought that was big bucks back then. And back then it was a lot of money for a 7-year-old.
Yes.
In the late 70s or whatever it was. But
hey, I'm impressed by $25 now.
I know. Money talks, and all mine says is bye-bye. Laurie?
Yeah. Like I said, I taught high school, but that wasn't for me. I did morning radio with a comedy team that was brilliant, and we did all kinds of crazy voices. But I've done anything and everything to make a living. I still do landscaping for people. I know. Look at me. Yeah, it is. Anything. I've done sports photography for marathon races. Did that for years. And I wait tables too. So anything. Keep going. I keep going.
It's a glamorous life.
I'll tell you one time I got fired, my transmission fell out of my car, and I got evicted all in the same week. And I felt like strong little hair. I'll never go hungry again. And I just keep going. I've always had 2-3 jobs.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is another day.
Any other questions?
I like that question. That was really fun.
Yeah, right here.
Have you guys ever done anything inside the recording booth, like physically, that they have to get together and be like, just tone it down a little bit?
You said, Kent,
I've been naked.
you said we're very active. What did you call it again? Active.
Oh, well, that's mostly for on camera.
Physical
It's just
acting,
turn your face down.
Then when you're screaming and yelling, I mean, depending on the scene, I know I was moving around and I smacked the music, I call it a music stand. But
Well, once upon a time, we did have those music stands.
it was a music stand on the
paper
script
strips,
with the
yeah.
paper or the paper noise.
Usually with a t-shirt paper clipped around it.
Oh, I remember that, yeah, to
That's
try to absorb the
buffer
sound.
that sound, yeah.
Clothespin the t-shirt around it. It was like a Funimation t-shirt.
Right,
Clothespin
wrap
around
around it
to keep the paper from making rustling noises.
I'm glad we had as much space as we did. It was a very small booth, but I know I had to move around a lot, especially during the Cell Saga. I mean, I just can't, I mean, I have to put my whole body into what.
I punched a $4,000 microphone.
Right?
I know that the booths got dicey sometimes. They would have, there was always like a can of Lysol outside.
Yes. There was usually like a murder blood stain on the floor. The booths
There were
got
all
kind
the
of
blankets.
nasty.
Oh, and something
It was like,
dropped.
I would take my shoes off, it was great, and be like, squish, squish, squish. At least I made it
Squish.
somewhat comfortable.
That's terrible.
Booth horrors.
Oh, I know, well, that was bad.
It's like performing inside of everybody's sock.
Yeah. All of them. Coming and going
That's
all
good.
day long.
That's
Oh,
all
what about
part
the
of it.
Wallace scenes, you guys?
Oh, you stick 4 of us in there?
We would, yeah, 4 or 5 of us, yeah.
Just like this, 4 of us around it. Wallace, where you have a bunch of actors
We're all
doing all
standing
this.
sideways.
Yeah.
You're like all coming into the camera like, you know, a quartet.
Yeah.
Smelling each other's
Like, oh, garlic.
pits. Garlic Jr. Garlic Jr. No.
Not glamorous.
But it was fun because we would come up with, they would layer all of what we were doing over and over, so we would sound like a huge crowd or villagers or whatever. And I remember some of the things that some of the actors were saying, and you could never tell once it was done.
But it was funny doing
We
it.
were trying hard not to just laugh the whole way through it because, excuse me, ma'am, but is this your tongue? And just really weird things these actors would come up with, and then you layer it enough, you can't really.
Where's the line? You know,
Right.
how inappropriate can we be?
Without it being heard in haste.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Second of all, glad you can tell your agents or the agents that talk to you guys about Japanese anime suck it.
Well, generally, that's not good for the working relationship.
I've heard my agent say, why do you want to do that?
Well, questions for you, Chuck. Who do you think who do you got in fight? You got a 17 from Super or Super 17 from GT?
Dude, that's a good question. I gotta go with 17. No. Probably DB Super 17 for sure. I mean, he was the MVP, he did, you know, save the universes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I go with DB Super 17. He seemed to be pretty skilled up. Over here. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, pointing at your own head.
Sorry. For Chuck, when you were recording for Super 17 and GT, did they tell you to get more more sadistic in your voice for 17? Because I noticed that you had a more malicious kind of intent for in his voice during the Super 17. So.
Yeah, well, the original Android 17 voice, I had all these ideas about what I was going to do. And I came in, I was like, oh man, and Sal was like,
No, man, no, just relax. Just relax.
and I was like, I'm Android 17.
He's like, no, seriously, just don't do anything, just talk.
And I'm like, I'm Android 17.
He's like, perfect!
I was like, I just don't have to do anything. He's like, yeah, just stand there.
Yeah, just stand there and say the lines.
And I'm like, okay, I will do that. And then when we got to Super 17, it was like, he's got a little bit more energy, a little bit more, you know. So it's like, you know, I got to have a little bit more, I had to work a little harder. I couldn't just sip my coffee during Super 17. I had to like physically engage. But yeah, that was all Sabbath's direction.
Right.
I'd like to claim it as my choices because they're brilliant, but they're Sabbath's direction.
I saw one over here with the hat. Yes, you.
This is to Stephanie's point. So obviously the pandemic has hit all of us, and especially in the voice acting industry, taught us a lot of resilient lessons in life. And to all of you guys, obviously, you know, the pandemic has definitely brought my family closer with me, and I'm sure for all of you. So I guess the question for all of you, how this is applicable to this industry. What sort of life lessons have you learned that, you know, you can take away from the pandemic that's drawn inspiration to your life and even in this industry?
I learned what I can live without.
Yeah.
And that includes some of the gigs that I used to take.
Right.
Yeah.
just severing. Now that I can't rely on it, I'm seeing how it is I land on my feet. You know, what kind of cat am I?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean, I was thinking of what did people do back when there wasn't so much entertaining things to do to pass the time. I mean, even just to get through the boredom. I mean, like I said, I've learned to be even more grateful for what things mean to me, like, I don't know, possessions, relationships. It kind of forced all of us to take, obviously we didn't have a choice, to take a different perspective on just about everything, whether it be your income, your family, your friends, your circle. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys.
There was so much opportunity for self-reflection. How could you not just do that?
I know you didn't have a choice, right?
You drank a lot and ate a lot. That's how you avoided self-reflection.
COVID 15 or
still trying to work off the pandemic weight. You know, I don't know. Some people were able to not do that. They were able to actually lose weight and exercise. I think it was good for some people to get outside and get the kids. You know, I don't know when.
I did not realize I had so many neighbors.
Right.
Seeing all the neighbors up here, everybody through the curtains, like a Gladys Kravitz, you know, just to see what's walking around the neighborhood. I was amazed at how many strollers and showing everybody masked at that time. That was like back, April of last year.
The technology too, like the Zoom and all these things. I mean, now there's a lot of things going on now. I mean, I was teaching piano and music recently, and you know, some of them were still Zoom calls, which we made it work, but it was a completely different thing trying to teach, you know, from a piano and with a computer and the technology. And
I've been teaching on Zoom for 3 years prior to the pandemic, so I kind of rolled right into it pretty easily.
Because you can do it all over the world.
Yeah.
Different time zones and.
Yeah, I've had students all over the world, South Africa.
You had a leg up.
Yeah.
I was ready. And then we sold 2 of our children to Big Bill.
It was hard to not. I mean, I miss the human contact as far as, you know. I mean, I contacted the grocery stores about, you know, kind of all we had there for a while. You know, I'm smiling under here. I mean, I don't know. I can tell usually, but and if you ever notice, I know you guys are going to completely identify with this. If you were like talking to somebody and they had their mask on, and then for whatever reason they take it down, and you're like, or you know, it's like you don't realize how much the bottom half of your face makes up your entire face. It's like, oh, I had no idea, you know.
Yeah.
That's completely off topic, by the way, obviously.
I think for me, during that time, you know the expression, you could only eat an elephant one bite at a time. I stopped watching the news, I stopped freaking out. I thought, I'm gonna bring all this in, just take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but did you have friends calling you and texting you from, I had friends calling me that I had 40 years ago that wanted to reconnect. And I loved it. I loved reconnecting with everybody. But I thought, isn't it sad that it took this to get everybody? But we're all still talking. But boy, I couldn't do all the news all the time.
I got COVID and it was no fun. I was like, this is like it feels like a Chinese bioweapon.
I was able to dodge it. I'm very grateful for that. But I mean,
It did.
That's why I walk with a kid now.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Complications.
Wow.
Plexiglass companies.
Hello.
Make a lot of money. She's appropriately dressed in a Super Saiyan color.
Super Saiyan.
Thank you.
Welcome, Tiffany Vollmer, voice
Hi,
of
guys.
Roma, OG.
That one also doesn't work.
This one doesn't work either?
You're loud enough.
Yay.
I heard the word COVID.
You did.
And I had that.
Did you?
Oh, it's.
Really bad.
Yeah.
I was in bed and very, very sick for over a month.
I was
and
sick.
I still have residuals.
I didn't lose my taste or smell, but I lost my microphone every now and again.
I lost my mind. I'm still looking for
I
it.
lost my hearing.
Did you?
Yeah, I still have intermittent hearing loss every once in a while. And I thought I had like
This doesn't work, does it? Oh, it does work. Oh, if you were a professional voice actor, you'd know how to hold your microphone properly. But, you know, we're amateurs.
Mic technique.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I was really, really sick. And people did a fundraiser for me, which was really great, because I would not have been able to pay for any of those supplements. And then my husband had to stay home with my daughter because I was out of work, and he was out of work, and the conventions were shut down, and everything that I do for a life was shut down. So I went
job week 2. And then I became the GM. And then I got back to my job.
So that's just like, I'll start here, now I own it.
I remember her updates on social media, and it was just like, she's a darling little girl, and she had to literally like shut the door to your bedroom, and they were there, but you couldn't go. She couldn't hug her kids. Same.
Wow.
With all your kids. Yeah.
We didn't, I was sick only for 2 days, but I took a bunch of weird supplements that I found on the internet.
Supplements, yeah. All the vitamins. There's like 25 different, like I didn't know there was chloroxygen was a thing you would take.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. But anyway.
Thank goodness we had.
Sorry I'm late to your party, y'all.
That's all right.
Well, you're not being a superhero.
Better late than never, right?
Swoop in. Swoop in. Thank my grand appearance.
Yeah, a grand entrance.
Not bad.
Oh, yeah.
Should we get some more questions?
Some more questions. Wow. Oh,
I'll let you ladies go.
how about, is that Beth? Hi, Beth Langley from Tom Thumb. I met Beth at Tom Thumb. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Yay.
I got a question for. Oh goodness, all of you are amazing. I got a question for Chuck.
All right.
All right. What's your favorite episode of Dragon Ball GT?
Favorite episode of Dragon Ball GT? You're making me go back like 20 years in my brain. I don't know, when he first transforms into Super 17 is pretty amazing. When he's flexing his full power. Honestly, I haven't rewatched GT since it aired, so it's a little fuzzy for me.
Can I talk about GT for just a second?
Sure.
I don't know if this is working or not. I'm gonna hold it and just pretend like it is. I feel, have you guys ever had that recurring dream, maybe if you graduated from high school or maybe even kindergarten, whatever, where you know you graduated, but you get to graduation in your dream and you never showed up for class and you have no idea how you ended up there.
Right.
That's how I feel about GT. I know I was there. I mean, clearly I'm in the credits and that is my voice, but I don't remember going to class.
It's been a while.
We were younger back then.
Yeah.
There's been an acute accumulation of birthdays, yes.
We mentioned the word resilience. But I digress. No. People, and some of the questions are like, they ask about things we can't answer, and it's always like, you know, I showed up and did my lines, and then they fast forwarded to the next line, and then the storyline, didn't tell you. And they try to set it up a little bit. Like,
I am watching it now with Ella, and now, let me tell you, my husband was way more attractive before he was a fan. Now I'm married to a fan. And there's nothing wrong with fans. Fans are great, but it was the one thing I was like, oh, you've no idea what I do. That is so awesome. We don't have to talk about it. And now we talk about it all the time. But it's okay because there's a 5-year-old involved too, so it makes it more fun. Yes, she loves me. She's here today.
oh, I love her too. I love kids. I'm telling you, if you guys don't want a kid, your kid, give me your kid. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Protect your
I
children.
tried many times. And it just, God was like, no.
Check Stephanie's backpack when she's leaving.
I feel like, I seriously feel like I'm being punished. I'm being punished. What did I do that was so
Twins
bad?
rolling around the other day, some baby twins. If they're here today, I'll see if I can see one.
That I have to say that we're talking about backpacks and kids. And so I was at the airport in Nashville for a convention. No, this is funny. I'll try to get through it quickly. I had a bag that was packed, and I was trying to avoid the fee so that I could get on without having to pay the extra fee. So I had this bag that was literally like right at the line of like, we probably should check this bag. It's probably not, pay the fee, whatever. So we get through, and I make it to the convention in Nashville. On the way back, I do the same thing, but going through security, and there was this, oh my God. So it goes through, and this lady, she just looks at me, looks at the bag, and she's so like, you can tell she's about to say it. I was like, I know, I'm in so much trouble, I'm gonna have to check that bag. And she looks up, she goes, ma'am, you could fit a small child in that bag. And the man said, well, let's go get a small child. But she was trying so hard not to like unleash on me and get mad, but you should have seen, she had to like contain herself. Like she'd been doing it all day, and I was just sitting there going, oh my God, I'm in so much trouble. It was a funny story. So give me your small child, and I'm sure I can find a bag to put it in and roll it home. Yes, you and Beth raised your hand about it.
So throughout your guys' Dragon Ball time, can you remember a particular scene that you guys had difficulty voicing?
Super Saiyan Gohan in the Cell Saga, the entire thing. Yeah. Screaming and yelling like Clint Eastwood for 5 minutes straight.
Screaming and yelling just with it. Yeah. And any kind of fight scene was really hard on your voice. And if you had to do it for 3 or 4 hours, yeah.
Or all day.
Yeah.
Several times a week sometimes. It depends on your lines and your deadlines.
Android 17 was always very easy. Emperor Pilaf was a little difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Screaming.
Well, I mean, the thing with Vollmer is we started off in Z, right? And then they're like, can you like pitch your voice a little higher to sound a little younger? And I was like, oh, we're doing this now? Yeah. I spent backwards screaming for an entire episode, or from an entire series actually, so.
It was kind of nice for me having to go from, but Dad, to, I'm Goku now. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Then we did Super Saiyan Gohan forever. Yeah, it's kind of backwards how we kind of did things. We started at the Ginyu Saga, I believe, episode 54. I don't know if was that the same for you when you got cast?
That's right, it started
with Z.
yeah.
So I was Kid Gohan, and I knew nothing about Japanese anime or anything about the story. I just had to, and they didn't even give me references, which I think is good. But being a mimic, I kind of wanted a reference. So I wanted to kind of mimic what they wanted, but only my voice. But yeah, they didn't go that. They didn't go
I
that
always
route.
do that. I always
thought I wanted to be cheeky because Goku's wife, and when I auditioned, I thought, oh well, the wife of the superhero is going to get
tons of play, right? and so we started with Dragon Ball Z, and I'm on a planet that's exploding, and these little boys leave me to die. And I'm like, that was a great anime career. That was
pretty awesome.
Don't give up on your dreams, kids. And then we went back and did Dragon Ball, and I was like, oh, Ron Burgundy, like, it was kind of a big deal. Right? I was like the main thing with the Goku
Kid. So I'm glad because my head would have gotten way too huge way too soon. So all in good time.
I remember when they were casting for the androids. I was doing a stage show with Laura Bailey, and I had just finished a class with Meredith McCoy, teaching her. She was my student, and I sent both of them in to audition. And I remember Laura calling, and she was just distraught, just bawling. I mean, she was a teenager at the time.
Right.
You know, she was a kid. She was still in college, going to Butsy, and I just remember just trying to talk her down off the ledge. She thought, I mean, that was it, that was over. And of course, you know.
She did all right.
Yeah, she ended up okay.
She landed up.
That was interesting to see.
Right after she got cast, I was doing makeup on her because I also am a makeup artist. I was doing makeup on her on a film, and I was just putting on makeup. We were just talking about acting. She was like, "Yeah, I just got cast in the show," and I was like, oh, "You're my son! So exciting!" I was like, "I'm doing makeup on my son right now." You know, not really, but. And then the first movie that I produced, I had Meredith McCoy, Laura Bailey, Mike McFarland were all cast in my little movie, and Stephanie Bren. Yeah. Stephanie. So they were all in my movie. She's also a singer too. Yeah, she's great.
She actually married the guy that played guitar in my first band when I was 18. Oh. Yes, so I know David, her husband. In fact, I always tease them, and it's totally a joke, but David Brem called me to sing with him on a duo at Torelli's, which was burned down, and I think they rebuilt. I don't know. This was a long time on Greenville Avenue, and I remember showing up, going, "Oh, that's cool," and I was doing some other singing things, and I had other gigs with my band, and so I said, I'm not gonna be able to do it, but please call me if you need a sub. I'll gladly sit in, and because I was working on some jazz at the time, and I'd never really sung jazz, and the next time I saw him at Torelli's, he was singing with Stephanie Brown, and I always tease him like, if I would have taken that gig, I'd be married to David with 2 beautiful children. I'm like, damn it, why did I turn that gig down? No, I'm just kidding. But David and I go way back. Oh my gosh, my first band, Backroads Romance, out of Denton, Texas at UNT, and I remember taking the job with Vince Vance, and we hadn't even done any gigs yet, and the guys were trying to literally rustle up money to keep me from taking the job with Vince Vance and the Valiants. And at that time, obviously, I was like, it wasn't about money, it was about getting on the road and traveling anymore. And I don't regret that decision, but what a story. And we all kind of like come in and out of each other's lives in different avenues. And even with Meredith, I scooped her up because I was in that same band, and I made her a Lioness.
That's right.
Yes, I scooped her up. I was like, this dude, she's adorable. Oh gosh, she sings, and she's like my little sister now.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yes, she's amazing. She's got 3 beautiful kids too. So, all these people have kids, whatever, go away. I'm just kidding.
Is it time? Do we have time? Wrap it up? You have time for...
Wrap it up.
All right.
Okay.
A final question. Hattie McHaddington in the back there.
Yeah. Have you ever read a line of dialogue about your character that you disagree with and tried to get it resolved or messed around and put it against your character?
Yeah, especially when you've done the character for so long. Raleigh, when doing Super, would be like, would Android 17 say that? And I'd be like, yeah, that works. There's only one time in Shin Chan where I was like, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but you also have to understand.
Our writers are a unique breed of folks. I can tell a script I can tell who wrote the script. I would see certain lines and style, or I'd be like, somebody sat on the couch too long and rewatched these episodes. Some brownies or something. Yeah.
There's a lot of people behind the scenes that make it what it is, and give any which way direction. So I guess we've got a lot of people coming together to try to make a masterpiece.
It's true, and it is a masterpiece. Thank you guys, you've been awesome. Come see us at the table.
Who wants to take a picture of us? I want someone to come here and grab my phone and take a picture of all of us. Do you mind? You guys want to snuggle? You want to squeeze cheese? We got our people watching our tables.